I think not, I said. This dying makes me way brave. Let's say you're a 5-year-old kid outside Dam Yam, Vietnam, sometime in the late 60s or early 70s, and fire comes raining out of the sky on your house. And I mean fire, raining. You didn't do anything to bring that kind of shit stuff down on your head, but happened to be inside your Vietnamese mother 5 years ago. And before the day is over, you don't have that mother anymore, and your face is burned beyond recognition. However, you live, and 40 odd years later, you're still sitting around, burned and broken, wishing you hadn't had to grow up in an orphanage. Let's just say you defied the odds and learned to read English and picked up Robert McNamar's book like I did last month and discovered that the United States has no idea what we have gotten ourselves into when we went into that war there because we didn't learn about the people. Robert McNamara was the Secretary of Defense, and they called him the architect of that war. Robert McNamara was the architect of the war he didn't understand, and because he didn't educate himself, you got fire rained on you. Who are you going to believe is evil, and who can you argue with? I can argue with you. My father fought in that war. You know nothing about Vietnam. Men put their lives on the line and came back home to ridicule and hate. I am tempted to reintroduce Lambier to the term non sequitur. Tell him he's proving my point, but I'm zoned in. No offense, but if I know nothing, there's a pretty good chance you don't either. I read about that war, and I've heard about it from you. You read about it and heard about it from your dad. Neither of us knows what it's like to be there. My only point is that a lot of things happen because of faulty information, and the reason to get educated is to cut down as much as possible on faulty information, not skirt it, because we don't want to offend the locals. The class is silent. They sense danger. But when you're dying, there is no danger. The truth works on every level, and I'm in a spot where I feel addicted to it. Lambier backs up, setting back my doomsday clock a couple of seconds. I won't get into my personal losses with that war, he says, but history tells us that democracy gives people their best chance at having a good life. When you live in the best one in the world, arguably the best one in history, you have to back it through its mistakes as well as its triumphs. My country, right or wrong? I ask. My country, right or wrong, he says. But if you're a patriot in wherever country you're in, that's true, right? I mean, if you were a North Vietnamese, you'd be considered a coward if you turned and fought for the United States, right? And if I live in Trout, Idaho, I can never see eye to eye with somebody from Harlem. In my defense, I do see the differences, but I also see the similarities. Lambier has clearly had enough of me. You think you're pretty smart, Mr. Wolf, but there are things you don't understand, things that come with experience. It's easy to pass judgment on your country and on your freedom when you are ensconced in a place it can't be taken away. But you're missing something important, something I probably won't convince you of today. You're missing experience. You're showing off in front of your friends because there's no cost, and I'm supposed to sit here and listen to you devil because you're a student and I should be happy that you're curious, but I find your ideas sophomoric and ill thought out, sir. And until you have that experience, I suggest you choose your words carefully so I'm not forced to put you in your place. This is the time. You're right, Mr. Lambier. I do think I'm pretty smart. No Galileo, but pretty smart. And I'm going to have to go with that because I won't be getting any experience that you're talking about. And why is that? Because I'm dying. This time next year, I'll be a picture in last year's yearbook. I want any information I get between now and then to be correct, which is why I'm all over the place with my argument and why I'm busting your chops. And I'm pretty sure that if you spent your lunches in the teacher's lounge, you'd hear I am the same pain in the butt in every class. I can feel the shock amongst my classmates. My brother is shaking his head and smiling. Dallas stares at her desk. If I could know only one thing, it would be what she's thinking. What do you mean you're dying? Mr. Lambier says. I put him in a tough spot on purpose. I mean, no breathing, stopped heart, all stiff and stuff. That's not funny. My brother almost spits out his gum. It's not funny to me most of the time either, I said, nodding at Cody. Right now, it kind of is. I'm going to end this discussion. Mr. Lambert says, we have seemed to drifted. I agree, we have drifted.